Today we are going to start with related function. And what is related function? I'm very sure that most of us we are very familiar with VLOOKUP in Excel. We know what VLOOKUP does in Excel. So I would just say that related function in Power BI it has similarity with VLOOKUP. It has similarity with VLOOKUP. You know VLOOKUP in Excel. You know the related function in Power BI is almost the same thing. So when you are using related function in Power BI, what you are doing is that you are telling Power BI to help you to retrieve information from other dimension tables. You understand? So that is exactly what the related function is all about. Related function is when you are trying to retrieve some information from another table. Now we have related function, we have related table. Sometimes people get confused on what is related table and what is related function itself. Now, when you are using related function, this function, when you are using it on the many side of of your table. What I mean by many side of your table is that you are using it on the fact table. Let me just say fact table. You can only use the related function on the fact table. You can't use the related function on the dimension table. So most of the time, I would just say that you use your related function on the many side of the table. Whereas if you want to use, maybe you want to use the related table function, you use it on the dimension part on the one side of the table. So that is it. But let's see how the data function works in Power BI. Let's dive into Power BI and see how it works. So, like I said yesterday, we have calculated column, we have measures, we have calculated table. So, and I said that anytime we want to deal with, we want to do anything that has to do with row context on a row level, you have to use the calculated column that is on the row level. Now, like I said, related function is used mostly on the many side of the relationship. And when I'm talking about the many side of relationship here now, the only table that has the many side is the sales data and the returns data. But so let's use the sales data now as my many side of the relationship. So now I'm going to use related function. So now let me show you something. You can see that this particular let me go to the product lookup table. Please, can you guys still hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's look at this product lookup. We can see that this product lookup, we have this product price. Can you see this product price? You can see it here. Now, this product price, I want to retrieve this product price. I want to take it to this sales data. How do you do that in Power BI using your DAX function? So I'm going to use the related function to retrieve the information in another table into another table here, which is the sales data. And I'm going to use the related function to achieve that. So I'm going to click on new column, calculator column, like I said yesterday, new column. Because what I want to calculate is on a row by row level. So I will say, let's call it product price, or let me call it price. Let's say price. So what is price? So I'm going to use the related function, related. Can you see the related? Like I said earlier, that we have related function and we have related table. If you click here now, read more, you will see return a related value from another table. You understand? Um, if I click here now, let's see what it's saying that return the related table filter so that it only includes the related row. It's almost like the same function. But what I said is that this related table will not work on the many side of the relationship of the table. You have to go and use it on the one side of the table. That is where it is going to work. It won't work on this many side of the table. So that is just the difference between the related function and related table. So now I want to retrieve the product price, the price in the product table. I want to retrieve the price. So let's retrieve the price. Just like I said, data function is also like a VLOOKUP in Excel. So you can see now that I have retrieved all the price in I have retrieved all the price from the product lookup. So you can also try to confirm whether these values are correct or not. How do you confirm whether it is correct or not? So let's just pick one of the product key. Let's pick one of the product key. Okay, this particular product key now. product key 360. The price is what? 2049. That's the price. So let's go to product lookup and let's check product what? 360, right? Product 360. So this is the product 360. Let's check. Okay, don't worry, let me filter it so that I'll be able to be sure. Okay, 360. So let's check the price, whether the price is correct. Can you see? Can you see the price? 2049. Just the same thing that we have here. Our sales data, 360, the price is what? 2049. Can you see? So the latest function, like I said, is acting just exactly like VLOOKUP in Excel. I hope we understand what the latest function is doing. Does anybody have any questions regarding the latest function? Anyone? We understand? Hello? Are we still together?
Yes,
Hello?
we are.
Okay. This one that everybody is just silent like this. I hope you guys are following, but it's fine. So, like I said, latest function is just to retrieve, the information from another table. And, for example, now let's assuming that you want to find the revenue here. Maybe you want to find the revenue here. You can just come here and create a new column. And who can tell me how to get revenue here? Can anyone tell me how to get revenue? Can anyone tell me how to get revenue? Let's assume that I want to get my revenue here. How can I calculate my revenue? Anyone? Anybody? Anyone with any idea on how to get my revenue? I have my price, I have my order quantity, I have some other information. So how can I get my revenue here? Anybody? Anyone? Again, okay, what I will do is that let me unmute everybody. So if you want to talk, but please just make sure that you mute yourself, please and please. Make sure you mute yourself. So if you want to talk, you can just let me try to unmute. Let me give you guys my access. So if you have anything to say. Okay. Okay, so can anyone tell me how to get the revenue? Anybody?
The revenue will be twice times order quantity.
Exactly. So if you want to get your revenue is your price times quantity. That's how to achieve your revenue. So that will be your order quantity. So you can see how you achieve it. Can you see? Can you see? So that's how to get your price time. So this one is going to return same value for us. One times the same value is going to be. By the time you filter, you check it, see that you have different values for the value. So that is that on how to do that. But one thing is that this is not the best way to achieve this revenue. But don't worry, as time goes on, I'm going to explain how best you can achieve this. And the best option to do between this or the other method that I'll show you later. So that is that on the latest function. If you have any questions, let me know. So the latest function is very straightforward, not that hard to understand. So we also have the calculate function. So calculate function is, I think this is the most important function that everybody should pay attention to. If you want to learn any function, the calculate function, this particular function is a function that you must pay attention to. You must because most of the time you find yourself using the calculate function most of the time. So please pay attention to the calculate function. So when it comes to the calculate function you can use it in terms of modifying, use it with a lot of other function like filter function, like all function. You can use it in a different way. And what does the calculate function hold? It holds expression and you can see filter 1, filter 2. You can hold filter as well. So expression here can either be your measure, the measure that you calculated. And yesterday I explained to you guys that we have implicit measures and we have explicit measure. So when you have your explicit measure already, you can use it, you can reference it here. Your expression here, you can reference it. And in case if you do not have your explicit measure already, you can define your expression, just like saying sum, using average, you can define the expression here. So let's see, let's do some illustration on the calculate function. Let's do 1 or 2 examples on the calculate function and see how the calculate function works. So I will go back to my report view. And don't forget that I said yesterday that anytime you are dealing with aggregation, you use measures. But whenever you are dealing with categorical value, something like on the row level, that is when you use the calculated column. I'm trying to emphasize on that again so that for the sake of people that are not on the call yesterday, anytime you want to deal with aggregation, like you are trying to sum up something together, you use a measure. If not, you use calculated column if it is categorical value, or maybe you are calculating something based on row level. If you remember that what I did here, the calculation that I did here is on the row level. I'm multiplying the price, the data price here, the price here, multiplied by other quantity. What I'm doing is multiplying this by this, multiplying this by this. So that's exactly what I did here. You understand? So that is why I use calculated column here to get our. So now, like I said, calculate function, the function in Power BI that you can use as well, like I said, you can use it with other function like filter, like all function, like it's a modified expression as well. You can use it with variables and every other function that you can. So let's see how the calculate function works. So let's assume that I want to calculate. Now, you know that we have quantity sold. We calculated our quantity sold yesterday. So let me take it down. Product category. So okay, let me use product. Okay. So let's use this product color. I'm going to use this product color. So this product color, can you see this product color? Now let's assume that this particular product, I want to calculate for only one of the color. Let's assume that I want to calculate only red. Hello, can we still hear me? Can anyone still hear me? I hope you guys can still hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So let me try to do this value so that you guys can see. So now let's assume that I want to calculate this quantity sold. These are quantity sold, but I only want to calculate for, let's say, red or blue. I don't want to see the filter giving me all these values. I only want to calculate for red. How can you achieve this? How can you calculate for only red, or let's say any color, black, murky, white, and everything? Let's assume you just want to calculate for one of these colors. How do you achieve that? That is where the calculate function comes in. Like I said, calculate function, we can use it with every other. So let's see how it works. So I'm going to say red sales. I want to calculate the quantity sold for red. So I will say red sales. I'll click on new measure. So I will say red sales. So now, because I want to calculate for the red sales alone, I will say calculate. Just the way the calculate function works. Calculate what? What am I calculating? It's asking me for expression. Now, don't forget yesterday I told you that if you use explicit measure, you can reference it back. It can be referenced. So if I say quantity sold now, can you see? I've used it. Now, probably this quantity sold, I don't know. You guys know how I achieved this quantity sold yesterday. What I did is just to sum up the quantity column together to get my quantity sold. That's what I used to get this quantity sold. You understand? So quantity sold, then I'll click on this. Then because I want to find what am I looking for? Color red, right? I will say product. That is our product color, right? Product color, product color, product color, product color equals to what? Equals to red. When our product color is equal to red. So I will click on enter. So now, what is the volume of our red sales? Now let's click on this red sale. Click on this red sale. Can you see what the value that is giving me? 40 now. What value do we have here? Can you see the same value? You can see. So it's giving me this. Now, if I put this product color here, if I put this product color here, probably I use the table. Now, can you see what every other thing is returning for me? It's returning the same value. For because I calculated only for red, you understand? Because I calculated only for red, it's only returning, it's just going to return only the value for red from all true. You understand? That is what it's just going to return from. But you can still modify this formula. Maybe probably you want to do red, and let's assume that I want to do red and yellow. Let's say red, I want to see red and yellow, yellows quantity sold. I want to do the red and yellow. So for you to do red and yellow, you can modify this formula. You understand? You can modify this formula probably by saying in. So instead of using equals to, you can use in. Then when you are using the in, you have to use your coil bracket. The coil bracket, then let's say yellow, this way. Then you close your coil bracket back. Then you enter. Now you will see that we will only have value for yellow and red now. Only for yellow and red. This showing for red alone. Let's see. Okay. Maybe okay, can you now see that the value have changed? The value have changed here, so you can see. So probably if I change this one again to I change it to table now, it's just going to show, you can see yellow and red. Probably let's say I put the color here. So it's just going to show me the value for the yellow and red alone. You can see it's just showing you the summation of yellow and red alone. So the way the filter, the calculate function works, it works in dynamic way. You can use it with other functions like all functions. You can use it with filter function and all. That just to modify, however you want to modify your context. I don't know. Do you guys understand the calculate function? Do you understand the calculate function?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's fine. So now let's move on to the calculate function. I think there's a task that we need to do. We need to do from the calculate function. Okay, so don't forget yesterday we are talking about our senior data analyst, which is Diane from the adventure work. Don't forget that our analysis here we are a consulting firm for adventure work. Adventure work wants us to help them to do some analysis based on the data they give it to us. On Friday we are able to build the model. Then yesterday we start some calculation, and we have been seeing how Diane has been engaging us. Diane has been telling us to do some tasks for her. Telling us to do some modification to the tables and all that we have. So those are the things that we have been doing since yesterday. So now Diane has reached out to us again. Diane is a senior analyst from Adventure Work, and he said, hey there, apparently, George, our product vice president, has been speaking with some of the store managers, and they have raised concern about the number of bike returns they are seeing recently. Can you please create a measure to calculate total returns for bike specifically, and let me know what you see? volume alone won't tell the full story. So let's calculate the return rate for bytes and as well and see how it's trending before responding to job. Please, can you please mute yourself, whoever is. Please, this is the reason why we don't like unmuting people. Eh? Please, when you mute yourself, just know that you're in class. Just try to unmute yourself at least, so that it will not be distracting us. Okay, so like I said, our senior data analyst, Diana, reached out to us, and he told us to analyze, to give him some insight from, to do some analysis for him, some calculation for him. Can anyone volunteer? Can anyone explain what Diane is telling us to do? Anybody that understand what Diane wants us to do? Anybody that can volunteer, that can explain Diane tasks to us? Anybody? This is an interaction class. It's not just about me telling you what to do, but let understand what the calculation is all about. Is there anybody that can volunteer and try to explain to us what Diane is telling us to do? Anyone? Anybody? Anybody that wants to volunteer? Anybody? So let me go through the question or what Diane said. Diane said, can you please create a measure to calculate total returns for bikes specifically, and let's know what you see. Volume alone won't tell the full story. So let's calculate the return rate for bikes as well as see how it's trending before responding to George. She said she needs this thing as soon as possible. Thank you. So does anybody understand what Diane, is telling us to do here? Anybody that understands? Just one thing or two things that we feel that, oh, this is what Diane is passing across to us. Anybody? Anybody?
I think Diane wants us to calculate the volume of. Okay.
No, go on. Don't worry. I will allow the other person to talk as well. Go on.
Oh, okay, all right. She wants us to calculate the volume of returns experienced at the same time, the rate of returns also. So the volume to calculate the total number of returns and the rate to give us an idea of the percentage, so that, the volume might not tell the true picture, but the rate will tell us the terms of percentage to the total number of bikes that was given up. Let's say bikes that were rented and the rates that was returned. So the percentage will guide us with that also. So she wants us to calculate the volume of returns at the same time as the percentage of the return.
Thank you very much. Exactly. So our task here now is to respond to George, because Diane, George reached out to Diane that I'm observing some things, some strange things in our data. I am seeing the volumes of our quantity return increasing. You understand? So Diane wants to know whether the concern that George has is something that she should be bothered about, or I should not bother about it. Because if you did not do your analysis, you cannot understand what is going on. It's not just about saying, oh, I know some people, when they are doing analysis, what they are after is just the big picture. You want to see 2 million, 3 billion. But the 2 million, what is it interpreting to you? You don't just do analysis based on the big figure or the small figure. You should be able to know that, okay, this figure, when you do some, let's say, percentage, does it have influence does it have impact on your business? If it doesn't have impact, Diane can tell George, don't worry, this thing is just a minor thing. We will look at it, you understand? But if it is something that it is a concern, Diane can reach out to George and say, oh, what you call my attention to is something that you need to tell the top managers, and you start have to look at all these things. So you understand? So those are the things that is the concern that George have, and he have reached out to the senior data analyst, which is Diane, and Diane is now reaching out to us as a consulting firm to help George to look into this thing. So now we are going to be doing the calculation together ourselves. So now just anybody can just help me to take a screenshot of the key objective, because that is what we are going to be working with. So our key objective is here, all these things. So someone should just help me to take a snap of it so that we can do the calculation together. What we need to do here. Anybody, any volunteer, anyone? Any volunteer? Please, let's be
I've
fast.
done that.
Okay, thank you very much. So you'll be my assistant for this. Okay. So what is the first thing that the answer we should calculate? We said we should calculate some stuff. Okay, so what did the answer we should first calculate? Oh yeah, now let's
She said
start.
we
Let's
should create a new
Okay.
measure named bike returns to calculate the
Okay.
total quantity of bikes returned.
Okay, it's fine. Let's do it one after the other. You understand? Now, if you want to calculate bike return, you understand? Which function are you using to calculate it? Which function will you use to calculate it? You know, you want to calculate bike. Let me because I'm not going to be, the teaching is an interactive. It's not just about me saying what you need to do. We need to understand why we need to do it. You understand? And why should we do this function? You need to understand it. So it's not just a class that I will be the only one, telling you, oh yeah, this, and that. No, let's reason together. Now you want to calculate for bikes, right? You want to calculate quantity return for bikes. Which function do you think you are going to use to achieve that? To be able to calculate for only bike, which function do you use?
We use calculate.
Calculate function. Thank you. So now, we want to calculate for the bike return. So you click on new measure, right? Don't forget that what we are looking at now is the function. So even if you don't understand what I'm even just remember that, okay, what function did I even mention last? You understand? So you'll be able to get what I'm asking directly. So since we are calculating for bike, you say bikes return, right? That's what you said we should calculate. So bike return, and you said calculate what? So calculate what? What are we calculating? What is our expression? Anybody? Our expression is what? Anybody?
Return data.
You think? Are you not sure? You're a consultant here. Quantity return, yes. You are the consultant here. Don't be telling your client that you are not thinking of anything. So quantity return, you understand? So you put a comma, then what are you looking for? Your category, your product category name.
Category name equals to bikes.
Equals to bikes, exactly. So equals to bikes. And equals to bikes. Then let's enter it. Okay, so let's bring our bikes return here. Okay. Okay, so what is the next thing that she said we should calculate? What was the next thing that she told us to do? What's the next thing?
We should create a matrix to show bike returns.
Okay, she said we should create a matrix, and everybody knows a matrix, right? This is a matrix. Your matrix is a matrix. And what does she say there?
By start of month row.
By start of month, okay. So you go to your calendar. That's where you see your start of calendar. See start of
Sorry,
month.
please, Mr. Folorunsho. I don't know if this is my network, but the screen is static on the slides. I don't know if it is my network.
Any other person that's having that same issue?
Negative. No, mine is not.
No, mine is okay.
You can leave the meeting and join, but since every other person is not having issue. So
okay, sir, thank you.
So now let's continue. She said we should pick start of month, right? Start of month. And what does she say again? Start of month. What do you notice? Okay, then bike return, our measure that we just calculate, our bike return. So what did you observe? Yeah, it's asking us that what do you observe? What do you notice? So if you scroll down, you see that at some point from, I think, the volumes of the return, the bike return is increasing, from 27, 38, 36, 34. This is something that George is concerned about. You understand? This is what, George is seeing, and, is not comfortable with the increase in the in the number of returns. So let's go on. What is the next thing that she said we should calculate? What's the next thing?
Okay, she said create a new measure named bike sales
Bike
to
sales.
calculate the total quantity of bikes sold.
Okay. So who's going to give me the formula to use for that? Who is going to give me the formula for that? Bike sales. Anybody? Who's going to give me the formula for that? What's the formula that I'm using?
Right?
What do you say?
I said sum.
Anybody?
Total. Sum.
Quantity times price.
Bike sales. Do you guys understand what she said you should do there? She said you should find bike sales. Bike sales. You are looking for the bike
We are
sales.
using calculate.
Calculate, exactly. You are still using your calculate function. Please, you understand this thing very well. You are calculating for sale for the bike alone. And I told you that if you are using sum is going to give you the sum of the column. It's not going to give you for bike alone. You understand? So you use calculate. Now, he's saying that you calculate for sales. What did you sold? Quantity sold is your sales. You understand? We have quantity sold, quantity return. They are not the same thing. So what is our expression now? Who can tell me the expression that we are using here? What is the expression we are using here?
Quantity sold.
Quantity sold, exactly. Another way now let's assume that I want to show you guys something. Assuming that you have not calculated quantity sold, what other method can you use to do this thing? I'm going to show you now. Another method you can use to do this thing that this quantity sold, let's assume that probably you have not calculated it before. The other way you can do is to say sum. I'm using calculate inside. I'm using sum inside the calculator again. You say sum what? Who can tell me sum? What am I going to sum here? What am I summing here? Anybody? Anyone? What am I summing?
Quantity sold.
Quantity sold, exactly. Quantity sold. Our quantity what? Our quantity sold. That is our other quantity. Quantity sold is our other quantity. Don't forget that. It's our other quantity. So you sum your other quantity, right? Then you know that this sum, you have to close the sum because it's a function on it. You have to close them. Go ahead with this is your expression now. This sum is your expression. This sum is your expression now. Then you put a comma. And don't forget what we are looking for is what is the bike. So that is what our product category was. That's our category name. Equals to what? Equals to bikes. I hope we are understanding this thing. Equal to bikes. Do you understand it now? We are only looking for bike sales. We are not looking for the total sale. It is the bike sales that we are looking for. So let's check it out. Let's check it. So we have our bike sales. So what else does she say we should do? Okay, she said we should add it to the matrix. Okay, we have added it to the matrix. So what's the next thing?
Create a new measure.
Okay, she also asked. Okay. She said create a new measure called what? Bike return. Return rate, right?
Yes.
Okay, so bike return rate. So who can tell me what I'm supposed to do here? Bike return rate. Who is going to tell me what I'm supposed to do here? Who is going to tell me what to do here? What am I supposed to do here? I'm looking for the rate. What am I supposed to do here? Anyone?
Bike sales divided by bike returns. Bike returns over bike sales times 100.
Exactly. Bike sales. Because I've calculated my bike sales before, you can use your divide function. You can use divide function. Divide function is going to ask you for the numerator, which is your bike return. Your bike return divided by denominator, which is your bike sales. Bike sales. Can you see your bike sales? You can say alternative, you should return 0 or anything, you understand? Just enter. Now, so let's convert this into percentage so that let's convert it to percentage. Just highlight this your measure, then convert it to percentage. Just like you said, multiply by 100. So convert it to percentage. So let's bring it to here. So can you see now? Can you see our bike return rate? So we have calculated it, right? So now the person that is reading this question to me, that is assisting me, how will you respond to the product vice president concerning about the rising bike return? George is concerned about the bike return. So how will you respond based on your analysis now, on your result? How will you respond back, or anybody, don't let me leave the question to her. Anybody that can tell me how will you respond based on what we have seen now with our return rate? What will you tell the vice president? How did you want him to feel with this small analysis that we have done? Anybody, any response? I just need two people and move on. Please, let's be fast. Anybody, based on this small analysis that we do? Oh, yeah,
Based
please.
on analysis,
Yeah.
I'll actually tell the president not to be alarmed about the return rate because we're having more sales, so we are bound to have more return rates. Along the line, the higher the sales, the higher the return rate.
Okay. Any other opinion? Any other contra opinion to what he said? Any other person?
I think there's been an increase.
Okay, go on. Go on.
Okay, so I would advise that right now, although the return rate is at 3%, it could be lower, but there's really nothing to be alarmed about. So maybe we should just further look at where we have a lot of return and see why, if that can be curbed.
I think someone else wants to say something. Do you have any contra opinion? Someone else is saying something before you. Do you have anything to say?
I
wanted to on its own, looking at.
Go on.
Okay. Though the quantity return for bike is increasing, the average return is not something to be alarmed about. The general return rate for bikes fluctuates. It increases and decreases, but it's not something for now that one should be alarmed about because it's not something beyond that goes beyond the average or the normal.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are wonderful. So I'm going to talk for everybody. So actually, that is it. So if I'm going to respond to to the vice president, I will tell him that me looking at the return rate is not something to be alarmed at because the percentage does not even doesn't, though they might have a threshold of, let's say, 5%, but if it does not, looking at this now is not something they can just look at the volume. Probably all the products, like someone else said, they can look at the product that they have been producing. Maybe they can just improve on the one that has a high return. You understand? So to me, our response to George is that vice president, you don't need to be worried. The returns rate are is not significant aside the money. So that is all about the tax that our senior data analyst from adventure working give to us. I hope we enjoyed the tax. So that's just the small tax that she told us to achieve. Sorry. So that's the small tax that she told us to achieve. Yes. So okay, so let's move on. So we have another function called all function. And what the all function does is that all function is going to eliminate filter context. You understand? You know that when we are calculating for bikes, if you remember that, let me go back to our bike sales, and when we're calculating for bikes is more of like we are trying to use a filter here, is returning for only bikes. You can see it's only returning for bikes. But when you are calculating for all function is going to ignore filter context in your calculation, because you are going to be using your calculate and your all function together. So all function is going to ignore any filter context. So all function is going to return exactly the same values. I don't know how I will explain it very well, but let me explain. Let me go back there. Let's assume that let me go to this. Let me remove this. Let me put our product category. Okay. quantity sold. Now, let's assuming that I want to see what I want to return is that I want to see access trees. We have what do we have here? The 7,809. But on a column on this next column here, I want to be able to see the total, this total here. I want to be seeing side by side. Okay, 57 of the total, 13,000 of the total, 12,000 of it. I want to be able to see this 84,000 here on the column side of this thing. How can I do that? So the only way you can achieve this is to use the alt function, because the alt function here is going to eliminate any filter context. Whether you apply any filter, you apply anything, the alt function is still going to return the same number for you. So that is what the alt function does here. So probably if you want to use alt function and you want to make use of the alt function, you can use it to eliminate filtering, to eliminate filter context. And sometimes when you are using alt function, it's not as if that the alt function is that necessary. But the moment you are going to use alt function is when you want to do like you want to calculate for percentage, for percentage increase or percentage of a total. That is when we most of the time when we use the alt function. So let's just do an example so that you can see what I am saying. Okay, so let's do an example. So let me just say I'm going to click on new measure. I'll click on new measure. So let's say I want to see the total sales. Let's just say all sales, all quantity sales, quantity sold sales. Let's just say all quantity sold sales. So now, if I want to use the alt function, like I said, alt function, you have to use it with calculate function as well. So we say calculate what? What is our expression? Our expression here is what? Is our quantity sold. Then the function here we are going to use is all. All what? So all is just to return the column name or the table name. So which column did I want to return? That is our category and the category name. Then I will close this. So let's see what the all function is going to do. Let's see what it's going to do. Can you see? The all function is returning what? It's going to return this total for us. Can you see? It's returning this total for us back, because one thing about the all function, like I said, is that it's going to ignore filter context. So it has ignore any filtering. Even if I filter anything here, if I put maybe a filter here now, it's still going to return. It's still going to return the same value for me. Even if I put any filter, it's going to return the same value for me. Can see the same value. So now, this all function, when exactly do we need it? Because we don't actually need it. But anytime you want to do like a percentage of a something, maybe percentage of a grand total, you want to do something like that, that is when this all function is going to be used, and you see how we are going to make use of the all function, using it with other function as well. So let's move on and see. I think there's a task for us from Diane again. Okay, so Diane have reached out to us again, and she said, okay, hey again, thanks for the quick turnaround on that bike return analysis crisis averted. So she's appreciating us for what we did earlier based on the feedback we gave to George, and she's giving us a kudos to that. So she said that got me thinking about how we could start analyzing the return data in our reports. Could you please help me create 2 new measures? One to calculate all returns, regardless of filter context, and another that divide total return by all return. That should allow us to see the percentage of return by different products and product categories. So now Diana has given us another task for us to do. She wants us to continue analyzing the data of the return quantity and all. So she wants us to do this analysis for her, and she has given us some of the objectives on how to achieve the task. So is anybody that can help me with this assistant, just help me to take your phone screenshot the, take a snapshot of the objective there, and let's do the calculation together. Anyone? Any volunteer for that? Just say yes, then I move on. Anybody?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much. So I believe you have taken the screenshot already. So let's go on. Okay, so so the lady that helped me to screenshot that. So what is the first task that the answer we should do here? So what's the first task?
She said we should create a new measure named all return to calculate total number of returns regardless of the filter context.
Okay. We said we should calculate all returns. Now, if you are calculating all returns, so which function are we using to calculate all returns? All returns. Which function are you using?
Calculate function.
Okay. So now you want to calculate all returns. So just give me the full function you are using. Calculate what? What are you calculating?
Return quantity.
Return quantity. Okay, that's good. Return quantity return. Okay.
Then
so yeah, go on. Then all.
Then return under return data, the return quantity.
All what?
The return data.
Which data are you returning?
Under the return table.
Okay. Return table.
Return quantity.
Will this work? Will this work? I'm not sure whether this will work. I'm not sure if this is your formula. Okay, yes. Okay, so let's continue. That's our all return. That should be work. Okay, so let's continue. What's the next thing? Next thing.
And then create a new measure named percentage of all returns.
Okay, percentage
then
of all.
That divides total revenue.
Hold on. Percentage of all return. Percentage of all. Please, if you do not understand what we are doing, ask questions. That is the purpose of you joining the live session rather than you going to what it is. If you don't understand, come attention, let's try to figure it out. Don't just assume that, it's just the people that are talking alone that can talk. I think everybody is unmuted already, so if you want to talk, you can, respect. So what are we calculating here? Create a new measure, name percentage of all return that divide total return by all return. So how are we going to achieve that? Anybody?
Divide function.
Divide function. Divide what? What's our numerator?
Total returns by all returns. Total returns.
Okay, sorry, just give me like a minute. So.
The argument is incomplete.
Okay, sorry for that. Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so total, someone says total what? Divide what? What are we dividing? What are we dividing? What's our numerator?
Total returns, then denominator will be all returns.
Total return. Our total return is our quantity. That should be our quantity divided by our whole return. Whole return. Okay, so what's the next thing? Our reader, what is the next thing?
We formulate it as a percentage.
Yeah, I think it's in percentage. Where is that? What's that?
The next thing is create a matrix to show percentage of all returns by product category.
So let's see, matrix. So let's check it. Product category.
Product category name.
Product category name. So she said we should put what? Percentage of all returns. This is not correct.
I think there might be a problem with our all returns formula.
Let me check that out return. So let's use return to the return to the okay. So yeah, what you are supposed to use here. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we can.
so for this all return, what you are supposed to use is the table, not that particular column. Is the table, the entire table itself. You understand? So that is what I use here. Return data. That's the table. You check it here. See that is the table name that I use. Return data. This table name. Can you see? This is what I use here. This is what is going to give us all the returns. You understand? Now, if you check here now, probably let's check all returns. Even though it's giving us the same values, because even when I use that particular column, it's still giving us this value. But when you want to divide it, it's not going to give you the same. I think that's just beautiful. So, but this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing. So by now we get so for accessories now, the percentage of all return is 61%. For bike, the percentage of all return is 23%. While for clothing, percentage of all return is 14%. So I think this is what Diane wants us to achieve. This is what Diane wants us to achieve. Is that fine?
Yes.
Any question?
She said
Any question? Any question?
we should identify which category accounts for the largest, which is accessories, and smallest.
Okay, yes,
clothing.
you can just sort this one in ascending order. I think it's already sorted already. Accessories is the so you can tell us, you can by what you are seeing here, you can easily tell us the category that is having the highest return, right? Hello, our reader.
Yes.
So which category is have the highest return, highest return rate?
Accessories.
Exactly. So accessory followed by bikes, then followed by the clothing, followed by the clothing. So okay, so let's move on because we still have some other concerns to look at. So let's move on. So that is that, and this is the task you can see. This is the solution, and I think we got exactly the same. Okay. So we also have filter. We have filter context. You can use filter within your. You can use filter within your calculation, your calculate function as well. You can use filter within your calculation. So okay, let's just do one or two example on filter. Let's do one or two example on filter so that you can see how the filter works. So I'll go to my Power BI. So let's just do one example or two on filter. So let's assume that well, what we have been doing so far is also similar to filter, but maybe we want to do like, for example, now let's look at the calendar. Look at calendar. Do we have here? Okay, how many days? Okay, this one. Most of the time, you guys should always ensure that the format you are getting is text. Because that here it doesn't have, just convert your year to text. Change the data type to text. Okay? So, I mean, I'm trying to do something so that our uh, products, will that look for. So you can see now that I have now what I want to do now is I want to calculate quantity sold for for bikes that is I only want to calculate for a particular year. So I only want to calculate for a particular year. You understand? Like I want to calculate bikes for let's say 2021 or 2022. How can you calculate? How can you do this? How can you achieve this task? Yeah. So a way you can achieve this is probably using your calculator, your calculate function and your filter function together. And how can you achieve that? So let's see. Let's give one example. So let's say I want to see 2021 sales for bikes alone, for bikes. So let's see. So yeah, I'm going to say calculate. What am I calculating? Quantity sold. Like I want to calculate the quantity sold. What are quantity sold? Those quantities sold. Okay. Sorry guys, I got distracted here. Sorry for that. So we will say our quantity sold. Then our filter. What's our filter? We're going to be using the filter function here as well. We say filter what? What are we filtering? So we want to filter for. Hello, can you guys still hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay, so the filter is going to ask you for probably the table that you want to filter from or so which table am I filtering from? I'm filtering from the product from the product category. Need the product category. Product. I'm filtering from the product category lookup, comma. Now it's going to ask you what is your filter expression. My filter expression is that the category name. The category name. Can you see the category name? Where the category name equals to what? Equals to what? Bikes. Equals to bikes. Let me take this. So let me take this here. So now, because I want to calculate for 2021 sales. Don't forget, I want to calculate for 2021 sales. So I will say now that, I will now say, you can use your upper sand. The upper sand, the double upper sand is and, so it's going to, concatenate another function like saying another filter again. So you just say filter what? Filter again. Filter what? Your calendar table, your calendar lookup, where your calendar is what? Year, calendar year equals to 2021. 2021. So let's see. Now let's pick this to here now. See. What happened? Question class of multiple. Sorry, I don't know. Something is wrong here. Calendar lookup. What's the issue? Calculate quantity so let me remove this. Let me calculate for 5 states. So, but what I actually want to add, what we'll do is that I only want to calculate um for 2021 alone, but I don't know. Maybe I will try to look at the function. I will get back to you guys. So what I want to do is that, but what I'm trying to say is that you can use your filter. You can use your filter function. Just like calling out, the bike name. Even here, instead of using equals to, you can still use like this function in, then use like let's say accessories, you can you can use function like this as well in to achieve your task as well. Okay. So, so you can can use this one as I'm very sorry for the distraction. Sorry. I have they are just disturbing me because they are charging their phone here and they are just disturbing me. Sorry for that. Sorry if you can still hear me.
Yes, you can.
Hello.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So the filter function is actually you can use it to just to filter, just to modify your calculate function. But don't worry, I will try as much as possible, even maybe for sake of people, because of the distraction and all, I will send you a link of where you can, you can you can register more on the DAS function on how to use some of these DAS functions very well. You understand? So I will share you like a link. If I do not remember, I think I should just try to. Okay, so let's move on. Distraction is so let's just move. So we have the activator function now. So I'm going to explain this activator function very well because this function is very, very some people doesn't, they mistakenly they don't know when to use this function, this activator function, and it is very, very important that you understand what this activator function is all about. Now, activator function in Power BI is an aggregator function. Is working exactly like a calculated column. Let me repeat it again. Iterator function is working like a calculated column, but it is not calculated function. The reason why I said that it's working like a calculated column is that like a calculated column function is that it's going to be calculating on a row by row level. When I was explaining calculate function yesterday, I told you guys that it is being used on a row by row level. It is being used on the row level. You understand? Because if you did not understand this concept very well, you mistakenly hit with some iterator function as well. So iterator function is going to help you to calculate on a row by row level. So some of the iterator function are sum x, count x, average x, rank x, and max x. These are the iterator function. And sometimes you don't use iterator function alone. You use iterator function with other function like related function, with calculate, with other function as well. So that's where you use the iterator function. So we will still look at some example on how to achieve this iterator function and look at some of the examples later. Oh, okay. Let's do one example before I go to the task that Diane has for us. Let's do one example. Let's do one example on this iterator. So let's go to, let me remove this. So let's come here to this our table. So let's come to this our table. Now you will see that here, this is our sales data. You will see this is our sales data that we have revenue, price, and other quantity. Can you see that we have our other quantity, price, and revenue? Now, for as a data, like as a Power BI developer, I knew that what I did here is not actually the best approach to this thing. Now, I don't know, during your data modeling, during your Power BI stuff of the thing, I'm very sure that Esther would have explained to you guys that if there is a column that is not necessary, don't try to remove unnecessary column. You should try to to not to make your column or your model to be redundant. You understand? So now there is no essence for us creating revenue here. There is no purpose for us bringing a price here because there is a function that can act, you understand, as an iterator function that can calculate this thing for us on a row by row level for us. And I'm going to show you how to achieve that. Like I said, what I did here for this price is to use the related function to bring in the price from the product lookup. But what I'm saying is that this column that I created, the moment you are creating additional column, it's going to be expanding the data size of your, you're going to be expanding your data size. And what we are trying to do is that we are trying to minimize, we are trying to optimize our model. You want to use the BLS method so that when it comes to data loading, data refreshing, you will not be having issues with your data loading. The more your data is large, the more the queries get, it take longer to load. You understand? So what we are trying to do is, and one thing about calculated column, like I said, is that it's consume memory. And if you can avoid calculated column, try as much as possible to avoid it. So that is just that. So now let's see how we can use the iterator function in our DAX. Let's see how we can use the iterator function in our DAX. So now let's go to the report view. So let's assume that I want to calculate revenue. I want to calculate my revenue. And you see that this revenue, I have calculated this revenue here already. You can see this revenue here already. You understand? So now let's say I want to calculate my revenue I want to calculate revenue without bringing it inside calculated column. How can I achieve the same task using the iterator function or using the measures? How can I achieve it? So I will come here and I'll click on new measure. But before I click on the new measure, I want to do something for us. Before I calculate that stuff, I want to do something for us. So I'll click on new measure. Before I do the iterator function, I want to do something because some people will mistakenly be doing this. So let's say revenue one. Let's say revenue one equals to. Now, I am sure that some of us, if you want to calculate this revenue one, you understand, what we will do is that, what are we going to do? Is that, let's go to our sales data. Hello, can you guys still hear me? I hope we are still together.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now if you want to calculate this, your revenue, I am sure that, let's assume you want to calculate it here. How some of you guys will calculate this is that you say sum your price, right? Sum your data price, multiply by what? Multiply by sum your quantity, your other quantity. I am sure that that is how some people will want to do it, right? This is how some people will want to do it. Now, if you do this thing like this, it is likely that you are going to confuse your team member. Where is the revenue now? You are going to confuse some of your team member. Now let's see the revenue. Let's see the revenue that we got here. Revenue one. Can you see revenue one? So what's the value? 2 trillion. Can you see? 2 trillion. Now, what is the revenue that we got when we do the row level revenue? Let's check it. The revenue that we have here. Can you see? 24.91 million. Now, do you calculate your own revenue? It's the same revenue that we calculate to. If you look at the formula, what did I do? I said what? I said price multiplied by what? Other quantity. And I am getting what here? I am getting 2.1 trillion. Now, if you do this kind of analysis and you are telling your company that they are making 2.0 trillion, and meanwhile the initial profit that they are making is 24 million, are you not putting your company into a trouble? You understand? So you have to be very, very careful with the functions that you are using when you are calculating this, especially when you are dealing with aggregation, aggregation, all those values. You have to be very, very careful with it. Now, like I said, this method that we have here is actually right. This method that we have, there's nothing bad with it. But what I am saying is that for us to minimize our model, you understand, you don't need to create this extra column, this price and revenue. You don't need it. And how can you avoid this price and revenue? How can we avoid it? So let's see how we can avoid it. Now, how can we avoid it? To avoid it, you can use your iterator function. And I said that iterator functions are functions that are, they are going to calculate based on row by row for you. Don't worry, how the row level is working, you don't need to know it because that is what the function is doing for you. You understand? And what are the functions that you can use? You can use the sum x, max x, rank x, average x. Those are the iterator functions. So I'll click on new measure. I'll click on new measure. I'll click on new measure. So let's see. I'll click on new measure and tell me the one that is better for you to use. So I will call this one revenue 2. Revenue 2. So how do you use this revenue? So I will say sum x. Sum x is what? Is an iterator function. Now, what sum x is asking you is what? It's asking you for table and expression. That is the only thing it's asking you for. Table and expression. So which table are we getting which table are we using? Our sales data. You understand? That is the table. Now, what am I picking from the sales data? What is my expression? My expression is that I want to multiply other quantities. Don't forget, our quantity is inside the sales data. Other quantity multiply by what? Now, if I ask some of you now, you say that we should multiply it by price. You understand? But I don't want to use price. I don't want to use the price that is inside this sales data. I don't want to use this price. The price that I want to use is inside this product lookup. Who can tell me what am I going to do? What am I supposed to do? The price that I want to use is inside this product lookup. What am I supposed to do? Anybody? Related. Thank you. You have to combine your related function because it is only related function that can bring in, and what is it called? It can bring in another column for another table. You understand? That is why you use your related function again. Use your related function and call out the price. You understand? Then you close this, then you enter. That is how to achieve your revenue without creating additional column. Now, let's see what we are going to get. Our revenue 2 is what? Let's see the value for revenue 2. Can you see? Can you see the revenue 2? It is what? 24.191 million. That is exactly how you can do it. Now you can come here and delete this and delete these two tables because it is no longer important to you. You don't need it. You can delete these two tables. Whether you delete it or not, it doesn't change anything. You have your delete from model. Yes. Delete from model. So we have deleted this now. Now you will still see that this one is still standing. It doesn't, nothing changed with it. We still have our revenue. You understand? We still have our revenue and nothing changed. You can see we still have our revenue and nothing changed. It doesn't, if you check the formula, what the formula is saying is that sum x is asking you for the table that you want to use, our other quantity, multiplied by related function, then we take our product price from it, then we multiply it. That is how to achieve your revenue without creating additional column. Do we understand? Any question? Any question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what?
Why did we get the 2.9 trillion before when we did it that week? Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes. Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong. Yes, something is wrong. Now, let me tell you something. When what we did earlier is that we sum. Now let me do something for you. Let me do something. If I do new column, and I said quantity sold, quantity sold, and I said, okay, some what other quantity. I say, okay. Now let's check something together. What do you have here? What did you have here?
54,120.
Everything is the same thing, right? Can you see? 54,000, right? Can you see? Now let's go to the front.
Yes.
Let's go to the front. Let's go to the front. Let's go to the front. Our quantity sold is what? Can you see? 5 billion. Now, what is our initial quantity sold? Quantity sold is this is our quantity sold. Can you see? Some data, can you see? What's our quantity sold? Let's check it. 84,000. Do you understand why we have 84,000 and why we have 5 billion? Do you know the reason why you have 5 billion here and you have 84,000? If you understand why you have it here first, then I will now go ahead and explain the 2 trillion. Do you understand why you have 5 billion here and you have 84,000? Anybody? Why we have 5 billion here? Why we have 84,000? The same
For the
thing.
5 billion, the quantity sold is the same thing for all the products.
Okay, and this one?
The quantity sold is already a measure of it's already a measure we calculated. So I mean, doing the sum of it is like.
So now, do you know why this thing is returning the same value? Can anybody tell me the reason why we are having 84,000 all over again till the end? Can anyone tell me the reason why? What is the reason?
Because it summed everything up for each of the rows.
Now, sum is not
because we didn't use some s.
Sum is not an iterative function. Do you understand? Sum is going to return just one single value for you. It's not a row context function.
Spaniards brought smallpox into the Amazon. Smallpox devastated the local population because there was no immunity to it. There was a massive die-off. The cities were deserted. Within 50 years, they were completely overgrown by the jungle, and they were.
Who is speaking like this? Please, can you mute yourself, please? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so what I'm trying to explain here is that you see this sum that we use here, this sum is not an iterator function because what he did is just that he's just summing everything. If you know what he did is that he summed everything here and he returned the total for you. Now you go back to the front end and you are trying to sum the sum again. You understand? That is why you are getting 5 billion here, and which is not supposed to be. That's the same thing that happened to that 2 trillion that we had at that time. Because what we did is that you first sum up the price quantity, then you sum up the other quantity, then you multiply them together. And that is why it's giving you 5 billion. But what it's supposed to be doing is that it's supposed to be multiplying row by row, multiply quantity by quantity by price, quantity by price. But what he did is that he summed everything here together, he summed everything on the price together, then he now multiply the total together. Do you understand? Person that asked me that question. Do you understand?
Yeah, okay. Does that mean that column does not actually work on row? It works on all the column as a whole?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Like the column twos don't work on the rows. They only work on the column.
No. Column works. Column is even the one that works with row. The function that you are using is not supposed to be used on column. Do you understand? You don't understand. This function, sum function, the sum function is not supposed to be used here. That's what I'm explaining.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
This sum function, even if you use average, you're not supposed to use all these aggregator function. You are not supposed to use it on the calculated column. If you use average now, it's going to return the same answer for you. It's going to return the same figure for you. You can see this one is returning true all over. Everything is going to be true. Can you see? So you're not supposed to be using any function that is aggregation. You're not supposed to be using it on the calculated column. Unless the only how you can use it is when you are using the iterator function, which is the sum x, average x, all those mass x, mean x, rank x. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't worry, as time goes on, you will understand it better and better. If you don't understand it now, I totally understand. And by virtue of practicing, you understand it. So let's go on.
Excuse me, please. Sorry, let me ask you this question.
Okay, sorry.
Now, please, now that we didn't do it on the column, that we went to the front side to do it, are we going to be able to reference it back the way we have been referencing others later? Hope it will not have any effect on referencing.
The revenue? You mean the revenue?
The quantity that we find now, the one that we did, is it okay? The revenue that we did just now.
Sure.
You know, we didn't do it. We didn't do it on the column. The other one we did it on the column. We were able to do it in the front end now. Are we going to be able to reference it back? I don't know.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We'll be able to. Don't worry. We'll still. I think I'm still going to use it. Use this revenue. You can see the revenue too, and that is what we use to calculate our dancing. I think I will still use it in one of these functions that we do later. You can reference it. Even if you want to check whether you can reference it or not, just come here, click on the new measure. Let me show you. You click on the new measure, and if you type revenue, can you see? Can you see?
Okay.
It's coming up. So once it come up, it's showing that it's going to work. You understand? So
Okay.
yeah, that is that. So let's go back to Diane. Diane said,
I have a question for you.
Okay. Time is going. Please, maybe you should just because I have to finish this calculation today. Please just decide your question. So let's quickly yeah. So Diane said we should look at, he said, okay, Ethan has for a quick analysis of company profit over the past few years, but I am struggling with the calculation. We need a measure that multiply other quantity by product cost, but I would like to do it without adding redundant column to our sales table. Could you take a stab at this, please, Diane? So can anybody tell me what we're supposed to do here? Anybody? Please, let's be fast. We have less than 20 minutes to go, please.
Iterator.
Exactly. Just take this, take the snap of the objective, then let's see how it works. Okay. Let's see how it works. Okay, so what are we doing? What are we calculating? What are we calculating?
The total cost.
Total cost. Yeah, thank you. So we're calculating the total cost. So we go to our new measure. So we're calculating total cost, right? Total cost. The total cost is what? Oh yeah, who's going to tell me the formula that I'm using?
Sum X.
Sum X, thank you. Oh yeah, continue. The table is what? Please continue. Anybody can take over. Sum X what? Anyone can take over. Sum X what? You are looking for total cost. You are not looking for revenue here. Total cost. Anybody? Oh yeah, let's go. Sum X what? What are we? Which table are we?
It should be the product table.
Product table. No, not product table. So, how do you get cost? If you are looking for cost, what is cost? What is cost? We will not leave here until we finish today's topic. If not, guys, you will be the one that will answer me. I won't tell you what to do. So I know we have good here. What is it? Sorry, come again. Come again. You said something.
Is that the cost price of each product?
So how do you get cost? I'm asking that. How do you get cost? If you are calculating total cost, how do you get total cost? How do you get total cost? I'm not going to leave you. You did not tell me. If nobody tell me this. I will not say the answer. How do we get the total cost? How? 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 We are both learning. How do you get the total cost? How do you calculate total cost? How do you calculate total revenue? I'm sure someone mentioned the total revenue for me, so you guys should be able to tell me the total cost. How do you calculate total cost? Everybody want to tell me. You want us to speak here? Yeah. I have appointment by 5. I mean by 4. Please.
Quantity multiplied by price.
God will bless you. Quantity multiplied by price, by cost. You multiply your quantity by your cost of production. If you are producing something at a particular unit, for you to get your total cost, you multiply the quantity by the price, by the cost of producing that particular stuff. How did you want to get your profit? If you are not, multiplying the quantity sold or quantity produced by the cost of, of your production, the only way you can achieve this is to multiply them together. You understand? So you say sum X. Where is your other quantity? Which table is the other quantity coming? Which table is it coming?
Sales data.
Sales data, exactly. That's what I'm expecting. Sales data, comma. You understand? And it's asking you for the expression, which is your what? Other quantity. Other quantity. Multiply by what? Multiply by what? What are you multiplying this one by? What are we multiplying
Product
by?
cost.
Product cost. So what am I going to do now? You know that I'm not referencing a column inside the same, this table are not from the same table. Related. God bless you. I just want you guys to understand this. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because if I'm just doing it, some of you guys might not understand it. So related function, you call your cost product, your cost, right? Your cost, this is it, product cost. You multiply it together, you understand? Then you enter. That's how to get your total cost. I said it earlier from the beginning that related function is used to get values from another table, that is from the many side to the from the many side of the table to the one side of the other table. You understand? So I said it earlier. So now what Diane said we should look for is our what? Is our total, is our profit. Now we cannot calculate profit now. Can't we calculate profit? We can calculate profit. So what is formula for profit? Formula for profit. Formula for profit. Anybody?
Revenue minus total cost.
Revenue minus total cost. God bless you. So to get your profit, your profit now is what? Profit is what? Revenue. So the person that asked me the other time whether they can reference revenue or not, whether you use iterator function or not, you'll still be able to reference it. Can you see? Revenue minus total what? Total cost. Can you see? Total cost. You can reference them. You understand? So that's your profit. So he said that we should create a matrix by year. How much profit has Adventure earned so far in 2022? So let's create a matrix. So we want to look at for the profit that Adventure Works make in 2023. Yeah. So what profit they make 2022? Profit. So what's the profit that they make in 2022? Anybody? So can you see 2022 they made about $3 million. That's the profit that they make in 2022. So that is what Diane said we should do. Yeah, that's what Diane said we should do. Are we fine? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that is what Diane said we should do, and you can see the solution here. So that is exactly what sum X, you use it with your cost and all. The same thing, value is the same thing. So that's what Diane said we should do. So this is the last part of today's class, which is the time intelligence that we're going to be looking at. So time intelligence is very, very important. Someone was asking me yesterday why the calendar table is important, why you should complete your calendar table. you know, the essence of, doing some of analysis is, you want to know the trend, you want to know what has been going on with your company, you want to understand your year-to-date profit, your month-to-date, you want to know the previous month revenue, quarter-to-date, week of.
Tolerance is. It's been a long time coming. They've been skating through this for too long. Oh yeah. I think it's lactose intolerance. It's peanut allergies.
Please, you guys should meet yourself.
Okay, first of all,
you guys should meet
and
yourself.
first of all, if you eat a whole milkshake, even if you don't have lactose intolerance, it's gonna mess with your stomach. So yeah, you get diarrhea after eating something. So what? Just get it. It's fun.
Please mute yourself when you're not speaking, so that you are distracting me. Let's meet ourselves, please. Okay, so let's move on. Like I said, this is the last part of this class, which is the time intelligence. I might rush this part because of the time. We have less than 10 minutes. So for time intelligence, we have different time intelligence like performance to date, previous period, running total. You can make use of your calculate function. All this time intelligence, you use it with your. You can use it with your calculate function as well. You can calculate the moving average and all. So let's quickly do the tasks that we have here. So I will use the tasks to solve some of the time intelligence function for us as well. So Diane, our senior data analyst from Adventure Work, has reached out to us as well. And she said she needs a big favor. She said the leadership team has been asking a lot of questions about month over month and year over year comparison. And I have been pulling the number 50 manually. Could you please add the following list of measures to make this metric easier to track and share with the stakeholder? Thank you, Diane. So Diane said that we should help her to. It seems I have to meet everybody.
Better.
No, but
we don't need to train in again.
I don't know why so
because it's trying to pass a message to us and we don't get. Now it's there. We don't need to train in again. Oh no, content.
It's baffling when people can't mute themselves.
Tunji, can you mute yourself?
I can't even imagine taking me off my brain. You don't let me you have the whole deck in money. Don't someone just die like that, like Sharon. And when you come bury a second day, you don't bury her. Don't break your neck.
Sorry, you guys are wonderful. When you are in a meeting like this, please just always try as much as possible. So please just raise your hand. Like I need to take it. Please make sure that. I thought you guys are, you are used to the culture now, but some of the guys are not. You are not used to the culture of meeting yourself. Okay, so it's fine. Let's move on. Let's move on. Like I said, we will have to rush the last part, which is the time intelligence part. So we'll have to rush it. So now, Diana reached out to us and she wants us to calculate some time intelligence measures, and she told us to find what. She said we should add these following measures to our calculation. So can anyone just let me use our phone, take the picture, let's calculate this matrix. Anybody, any volunteer out of the 3 people that I released mic for now? Anybody? Additional.
I have it.
Okay, you have to take it. That's cool. Okay, what's the first task? Our first task is what?
Previous month returns.
Previous month. So I will do something. All the measures that we did, I will try as much as possible. I will share the PBIS with you guys. So that you guys can do all the measures that replicate it. So previous month return, right?
Yes.
So how do we calculate our previous month? Now, to calculate your previous month return, because you are dealing with previous month, so you can use your date add function. So we use calculate. We are dealing with returns, right? We are dealing with returns, right? So you say previous month returns. That's our quantity return. Let's say quantity return. You say comma. Now our filter here is going to be date add. You understand? Our filter here is going to be date add. Date add. Now, what is date add is going to ask you. Date add is going to ask date that we want to use, which is our calendar. Our calendar what? Our calendar date. And use the calendar date. Now it's going to ask you for number of intervals. Like how many months do you want to take step backward? How many months? Previous month is one. You say 1. You understand? So that should be -1, comma. What is the interval? Months. Can you see months? Then you close it. Then you enter. That's our previous month. So let's check the value. Can you see? These are previous month return. These are previous month. So what's the next thing? What's the next start? What's the next thing? Time has gone. We have less than 4. What's the next thing?
Previous month's orders.
Previous month order. So tell me how to calculate the previous month order, or any other person that can, just like the return that we did now. So tell me the measures we use. Previous month orders. So that's what? Calculate our what? Total order. We have order calculated already. I thought we have order. Okay, that's our quantity sold. Right? Quantity sold, date add. Date add is used to calculate previous month. You understand? If you want to do previous month, by 1, by 2, previous year, previous quarter, you can use your date add. So if that's it, what date add is going to ask you for the date. The date is your calendar table, right? So you go to the date. You can see this date, you see the date, comma, is asking you for number of interval. Number of interval is equal to -1. You understand? And it's asking you for month year. If you are doing previous year, you will use year. If you are doing previous quarter, you will use quarter. If you are using previous day, you pick previous day. But because you are dealing with previous month, you understand, you pick month here. Then you close it, then you enter. So this will be our previous month order. This is our previous month order. This is our previous month. So what's the next thing that I say you should calculate? Previous month profit, right?
Previous month's profit.
So I will give the remaining one. You guys will have to go and do it yourself. Other targets. I will do 19 days rolling for you, but I will just want to show you. I want to show you guys something. Show you guys. Let me just do the previous month. The last one. You guys will do your. You can do the other target and profit target yourself. Maybe that one maybe as an assessment or something so that first time I've done this is already 4 o'clock already. So previous month profit. You understand? So that's what calculate what? Profit. We have profit already. Profit from our date add. Date add is used to calculate previous calendar date. Go to your date column. The date column. Number of interval is -1 and month. Now I'm going to show you guys something. Let's assuming that see nowadays sometimes even me myself I don't know some function and I don't even stress myself to be calming function on my head again. Because now we have AI that can assist us, that can help us to, do some tasks. You understand? You don't need to be cracking your head. Hey, how did I want to do this formula? I don't know this DAX. I don't know this function. You don't need to know all the function. Just know the basic one. If you know the basic one, you are good. Now I'm going to answer the last one, which is the 90 days rolling profit. You understand? The 90 days rolling profit. I'm going to answer that. Now let's assume that I don't know how to calculate my 90 days rolling profit. I don't know how to achieve that. I don't know how to do that. You can easily use AI. ChatGPT is here for you guys. Make use of your AI. I'm sure that Joseph said it during the section, during the example. You can make use of the AI. Now, let's assume that I just go to my ChatGPT. Let's just go to ChatGPT and see how it works. Maybe for the sake of people that have not used ChatGPT before, or people that doesn't know how to even know write a prompt on how to ask questions. Let's assume that, okay, you can tell ChatGPT that, oh, I have a sales record. I want to, okay, how to calculate. Just say that just type it, how to calculate 90 days rolling profit. Rolling profit using, they can precise using Power BI DAX. Just enter. I'm sure that it's going to give you function that you can use. You can use it for any of the function that maybe, like I said, you don't need to know everything in your head. Nobody is saying that you must know all the whole function on your head. Just know the basic one. You understand? Now you can see it has already given us some function. You can keep trying any of the function and see which one is going to work. You understand? You can see it has given you like some option. So let me just copy this one and see. You understand? Let's just copy this one. Let's see. Just go to your new measure. You just modify the function. Try to modify the formula, create it rolling profit. You can see, you can just put 90 days rolling profit. Now it's asking you that, it has defined all these things for you. It's asking you for your date. What's our date? You can just modify it. Our date is what? Calendar. Just go here, just modify it, calendar. Now it has defined that. Calculate, what are we trying to calculate? That's profit, right? So we are not going to use sum again because we have calculated it already. We are not going to use sum again. So what we are going to do here is just say profit. Just call out your profit. You don't need to sum it again. Just call out your profit. Then what else again? We remove this one from. So what else again? That's all. Your hold on, filter what else are we filtering? How to check? Hold on, let me see. Let's see. This is return curve. Happy to return. This one. What are we filtering? Okay. So let's filter our calendar. That's our calendar lookup. Okay. This should be our calendar. This should be our calendar data. So you just modify it. Calendar date. Then this one too should be our calendar. So you can see how you can make use of, make use of the AI so that you don't need to stress yourself. You can just modify the formula and all, and it's going to work for you. You can see it's just a modification of the formula, and it's going to work for you. You can see. So